Greetings, welcome to YouTube video number 1. Chemistry has the first one we're creating for public consumption. Special thanks to Allison Drake and the rest of her peer group there for coming up with the title of the channel indirectly. So here's where you should be at this point if you're watching the video, and if you're not here you probably want to hit pause and then go do some other things. So by now you should have read 11.5. You should have figured out roughly 2 new points that would be on the 11.5 quiz, studied a little bit of the old words, and then you should have taken the quiz. After you took the quiz from your packet, then you should have tried to check your own quiz, combination of book and old quizzes. And you also probably should have been working on some homework, although that's not as necessary to understand what's going on here on the video. But if you haven't read 11.5, haven't studied for that quiz, haven't done the quiz, haven't graded the quiz, hit pause, go do that stuff, check back in with me later. If you've done those things, then you're doing is quiz grades. There's no way to grade them completely accurately without the interchange, but we're still just going to keep doing the quizzes. But what we have, I'll just do what I usually do here. So 11.5, the top 2 new words on this should have been Gay-Lussac's law, and it should have been the word directly, which you probably remember was also the word for one of the earlier laws, and this is about the same as the other laws. Just directly means if the one thing goes up, the other thing goes also up. So this law was about pressure and temperature. So here's the equation du jour. The P's, as always, stands for pressure. Pressures could be measured with any of those 8 things from the quiz that we've memorized. The ATMs, the torr, that whole bit. There's 8 possibles. Again, the key is you have to make sure these 2 pressures are measured with the same thing. If they mess with you in the homework and give you 2 different pressure units, you're going to have to convert one. Dimensional analysis, all that kind of stuff. The temperatures, as the previous law, have to be in Kelvin. So if they mess with you and give you Celsius, you're going to have to make it Kelvin by adding 273. That's just how that goes. But that's the law. I'll do a mathy problem here in a minute. So when you go ahead and try to read up to 11.6 to do next quiz, 11.6 only has 1 new point where basically they're going to take all 3 of these laws and put them together. So there'll be 1 point about the reading of 11.6 to do that. If you're looking at your 11.5 quiz, the 11.6 would do everything from 3 down, but with a twist in the middle. The 11.5, I might have caught you today, even though I had warned you the laws might be switched in order. I didn't do Boyle then Charles the way the book had done them. We did Charles then Boyle is how the quiz went. But the next version of this on 11.6, it won't be fill-ins. 14 to 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, that stuff won't be fill-ins. So the question will go, name the 3 laws, state the 3 laws, give an equation for the 3 laws. So at this point, let me give you a tip. The stating the laws is a sentence that'll say at constant, one of them. The second one is proportional in a certain way to the third one. So if you want to self-test yourself, you could pause the video and see if you could do that without me. And then unpause it and check back in. Here's the way those are supposed to go. So Boyle's is at constant temperature, volume inversely proportional to pressure. That was the first one we did. That's P1V1 equals P2V2. So you get 1 point for Boyle's, 1 point for saying the sentence at constant temperature, volume is inversely proportional to pressure, and then the equation's a 3rd point. If we were counting these for points, which someday we'll take the test, and that's the way this will go. So I'll encourage you, just keep doing the quizzes like they're quizzes, but maybe not with the same stress, panic, intensity level for some of you. But keep doing them like they're quizzes just to prep for where we're someday taking the test on this. Charles is 2, that's constant pressure. volume directly proportional to Kelvin temperature. V1 over T1 equals V2 over T2. And then Gay-Lussac's law is the new one, that's constant volume. Pressure directly proportional to Kelvin temperature again. And that's the equation that we just looked at on the board, the P1 over T1 equals P2 over T2. So through the middle of the quiz, the 14 through 20 group gets joined with the 1 and 2 group to be a 9-point question, name, state, equation. Those bottom two stay the same, and that's where that goes. Homework, you'd be trying to do 16 to 19. By the time you go to take the 11-6 quiz and watch the 11-6 video, if you have homework questions, you have to email me the homework questions, and then I will put those answers in conjunction with the next video, or have a video add-on, or somehow I'll get questions answered about the 16 to 19s and such. Really, I guess any homework 19 and previous, you could email me with those questions and I could do that. The math example, if you have your book handy, then head with me to 288. If your book isn't handy, grab a book, head to 288, hit pause while you do that, and you can unpause when you're ready. But I'm 288, I'm looking at an example 11.5. So the example 11.5 says temperature of 1 liter of gas. So liters, we should know by now, measures volume. If you try to take a volume and stick it into these homework questions today, you're going to notice that volume does not fit, because volume does not matter, because this law today starts off talking about constant volume. So anything about volume, you skip it. It says it's at STP. STP would help you do both of these, but we can't decide which numbers to use until we read a little bit further, because pressure, you have like 8 choices. Temperature, we would know what to do with temperature, but I'll still double back to that in a second. If I read on, it's talking about 220 degrees Celsius and constant volume. So, the 220 Celsius, you might be tempted here to put 220. 220 is not going to go here, even though 220 is a temperature, because the temperatures have to be Kelvin. So we need the 220 to add 273, and there is a 493 living there. They're asking you to figure out a pressure, so we don't know what that is, so that needs to be some sort of a letter. But that pressure, they want us to be calculating it in torr. So this pressure needs to be in torr. This pressure then needs to be in torr. So we need to grab from our quiz knowledge the torr number for pressures, which is 760. And then the temperature number for standard temperature, that is always going to just be 273 Kelvin. It's just the way that's going to go. So these are both Kelvin, so that's good. These are both thinking in terms of torr, so that's good. Variable on top helps us, because we only need to do one little move. Since this is on top, we just need this to get off of the bottom. Since it's dividing, we just multiply it. Grab your calculator. If your calculator's not handy, hit pause, grab your calculator, open it up. We're looking to go 760 times 493, divide by 273. Punch, 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 punch. The screen will say something with 137 is where we'll round, because that's the third position. They'll round to a 7. It's 1370, and we need torr. And that's about all she wrote for today. So I'll see you tomorrow, unless, of course, you watch the video again, and then I'll see you in a couple minutes, I guess. Handy part of these videos, I suppose, you can rewind them if I lost you, or you could pause me if I'm going too fast, or do what you need to do. But stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you someday.